this isn't something I'm just making up. This has been recognized. And there's the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change has identified that sustainably managed forests is one of the best tools to sequester carbon in mitigating climate change. Sustainably managed forests. But it's actually just came back from Lima, and I was fortunate enough to be there for the fourth annual World Congress of Biospheres. And at that, I was there for the last day, and they had a panel of folks that were leading workshops for the previous 3 or 4 days. And one of the fellows, he made that comment: sustainably managed forests are key to our future. Not protected forests, sustainably managed forests. And so the challenge then is to try to get people to understand that. And try to get people to understand that, we call it the 3 legs of the stool, that you can't stop thinking about the environment if the economy goes for a tank. Which tends to happen. We go, oh yeah, we'll worry about the environment later. Or we got to focus on jobs now. You've got to start thinking that, if you maintain a healthy environment, that will ensure we have a healthy economy for the future and a healthy society for the future. But it's all 3 that have to be considered. As soon as you take one leg away, you're going to fall apart. And unfortunately, or fortunately, and here we are today, we're here at the center of the universe, capital of Canada, whatever you want to call it. This is the decision-making power of, certainly of Ontario, is right here in Toronto. And it was really interesting when I came down from Hudsville. Quebec was there, they had a flooring plant. The forest industry was part of the local economy, more or less understood how important it was, not totally. But then I came down to Toronto, and people, working at Front University, crazy place for the forest organization to be, but whatever, and talking to people, going to various workshops and such, and they're just saying, no, we should not be cutting trees at all. You use wood products every day, trust me. You have probably wood in your house. People love wood, but they're not connecting the dots, where it comes from. And so one of the challenges is to try to get that population, and call it urban populations, to understand how important our rural areas are, how important that forestry sector is. And it's even getting worse because we got more people moving into urban centers, and even more people getting sort of, call it, disconnected with the rural areas. And it really shows up when you start looking at the government budget. And we're just talking over lunch about how we the public tend to think, oh, the government's on this big gravy train. Look at Rob Ford. It's such an easy sentence, right? Well, we've got to reduce government. It's all in government. Everybody's getting overpaid. It's a gravy train. Blah blah blah. So you got to make sure you reduce the government. Well, guess what? Right now, it's 1% of that budget for 2014 was about the environment. So that's Ministry of Natural Resources, Ministry of the Environment, and what you see now. Not a whole lot compared to health, education, animal support. And it just seems to be the target. Like whenever there's budget cuts, go after the environment. If you don't want to touch health, and you certainly don't want to touch education, although recently that may be a little different. But the environment just seems, again, it's the target. Let's go after it. Donation distribution. It's not just the provincial government. Here's the distribution of donations and what they go to. And so there's religion, health, and the environment, 2%. And that's 2%. So us as a not-for-profit, we're competing with the World Wildlife Fund, the Nature Conservancy, all of those big not-for-profit organizations that are going after funding to support their causes, all good causes, but it's just a really small piece of the pie. And so, how do we get the public to change their opinion on how important that environment is? We do community tree plants, and I swear if we could do a community tree plant by a church and make it a religious event, but so far we haven't had those kind of sites available to us. But it's a public awareness issue, which is why I put on the 4th bullet as one of the threats to our forests. And it's that communication. It's the rural communities telling the rural what they're doing, why it's important, how well they're managing our forests and our environment in general. And so you ask the question, and I talked about this before, we talked about our forest management practices, and asked the question, will our forests really be managed well? Yeah, they are. There's a lot of recognition outside of Ontario of how well our forests are being managed. There's a couple of organizations here that have identified that in their documentation. You look at our certification here in Canada, and it is unbelievable how much land that we have certified compared to the rest of the world. You know, through essentially the three main certification bodies, the CSA, SFI, and FSC. So the world thinks we do a pretty good job here in Ontario. And what the challenge is to get folks to understand that in the urban centers. And it's a slow process. And I just had a couple of examples of opportunities to do it. And you know, to get down into that sector, the population, and try to change minds. This is just a quick story. The Toronto Christmas Market. Forest Ontario has been there now for 5 years, and we donate the great big tree that's there. You see it? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Great big lot. This year was a Norway spruce, 54 feet tall. It was absolutely gorgeous. And we also sell Christmas trees in our booth there. The very first year we were there, we ordered 100 trees. We got a really good price from Somerville Nursery. They're beautiful trees. We sold 50, and we had to give away 50. And we had an incredible amount of pushback from people that were there talking about you should not be selling real trees. Oh my God, you know, how environmentally unsound is that? And we were able to continue to invite media. This year, we were doing it again, and we had 4 TV stations there when the tree was being brought in. We had countless interviews. We put up press releases. This year we had 400 trees, all sold. And I don't think there was one person that stopped by our booth giving a negative comment about using real trees. But 6 years it took of just that constant messaging out there. You might think that's a small example, but it just, in my mind, is an example of just continual information to give to the public about the sustainability of that particular industry, which is using real trees. We had another situation, and you guys might be familiar with this one, the sign that was around Algonquin Park. There's about 5 of these, and it was actually the fellow that was he was a biologist in the park, and he started an organization called Algonquin Eco Watch, and he had some issues with some of the things that were going on in the park, and he decided to put up these signs. And you know, it's interesting, the forestry sector has done an absolute pitiful job of telling the public what they do. Ever since just forever. But they are very reactive when something comes up. They will shoot letters in and everything. Anyway, true to form, these signs went up, and there was probably a dozen letters or so that were sent into the minister and the MPPs and all this kind of stuff, trying to say how wrong that is. But the signs stayed. Nothing really happened, and that reactive process just didn't really get a whole lot of traction at all, as it never really does. So what was really cool is these signs, the fellow, Mike Wilton, who was the proponent of these things, who was the former ED of Algonquin Eco Watch, he decided just to can Algonquin Eco Watch. He'd had enough. He retired some 25 years earlier from M&R, and he just really wanted to retire. Word got out that these signs were going to become available. First thought, chainsaw. Get them down. Second thought, sober second thought was, maybe we should put up some better signage. Maybe we should put up some proactive messaging about what we do. And so the Ottawa Valley folks got together, they contacted us, Forest Ontario, and said, can we work as a collaboration to come up with some really good messaging about forestry in more or less central Ontario? So we did that. We started this back in the fall, and we're just about to release a website that's directed and provides general information about forestry in central Ontario, the different silvicultural systems, the forest management plan, the forest management practices and processes, but just information, real information. And we're going to put up what we think are more proactive signs. Now, the challenge was this. We had about 20 forestry folks from around Algonquin Park, in Algonquin Park, forestry people, all commenting about what the signage should be for these things. And some guys saying, oh, we should have a skidder up there with a guy with a chainsaw ripping and tearing around the trees, and that's what we should show the public. And there's some other people out there, no, we gotta just show all the wildlife and all that about the public. So what we concluded was foresters don't know how to communicate. And we needed to get some help to do it. So we actually had a company in Toronto, that was a website design and marketing firm, that heard all we had to say, and they said, look, you're trying to talk to a public that doesn't really care about the skidder and the chainsaw guy. And the reality is they don't. What they want to know is that their forests are being taken care of, that they're going to have recreational opportunities continue to stay there. So we're going to show you a slide. This isn't out yet. We're going to be releasing these May 1. So okay, Steph, if I do this.
Oh, it's the other stuff.
Yeah, so it's kind of, we haven't let any of this out yet. So we're going to show you the sign. Now, keep in mind, you guys, all of you, so you see what you think. So that's the sign. But what are the signs? Well, we've got 4 of these that are going on around the park, all different. We've got the website that's going to be on this, that people can go to get more information. I'm not going to show you all 4 of it, it's just time, but it's this kind of thing, proactive messaging that we have to get out there. So we're going to push this out. We're going to continue to follow through the year and just start the process. Start telling people what we're doing. The other aspect that we have to think about, so there's the general public, there's the cottagers and all those folks about getting this, but then there's the education and our kids. And I was telling you earlier, the population movement of the younger generation coming into our urban centers, further getting disconnected from our natural environment. Kids these days, not to generalize too much, but they're on their iPads, their iPhones, or whatever it is, and their computers and all that, and they really aren't getting out and enjoying outdoors, nature. The helicopter parents that are out there, I see it all the time. It's just, when do you get kids to just go for a day and play out in the forest? Not too often. So we have to start developing opportunities for kids to find out more about the environment. And certainly Richard Loeb, I don't know if, has anybody heard about Richard Loeb before? Yeah, a few folks, yeah. He coined the phrase nature deficit disorder, and essentially identified, this was 5 or 6 years ago, that within a couple of generations, if we don't create the opportunities for our kids to get connected to nature, they're going to be disconnected to our outdoors. And if they become disconnected, you have to ask, okay, who's going to take care of our natural environment? If they're just not interested. So, we have to create those opportunities to do that. So we have, Forest Ontario has a number of educational programs for kids, right from senior kindergarten, right up to postgraduate work. These are just some of them. That we get the kids out, that we show them about the environment, that we get out and talk about forestry. We've got one, Forestry Connects, where we actually take kids from the city, and for 2 years now, we've taken them up to Algonquin Park and into the logging operations. We said, show the tree marking. Here's how tree marking works. How you pick trees. Then the fellow forwarder comes in, harvests the tree, they follow it out to the mill, Praise Mill for the last couple of years. It goes through the processes, and out the other end comes wood products. And they're just in shock when they see this. They have no idea that this is the processes. And we actually, if you wanted to check out a YouTube video, we did a YouTube video about Forestry Connects. And if you get a chance to see it, you'll see the enthusiasm of these kids, and they'll get a better understanding and appreciation of what's going on in Algonquin Park. Most of them had no idea, first of all, there was logging going on in Algonquin Park, and now they can get a really good grasp of how sustainably done it is. So it really is down to the point, and you're the perfect audience to talk to about this, because we are starting this awareness campaign. We have to get folks like yourselves that understand about the environment, that understand, you're in a biosphere, so you're in a sustainably managed type of system there, that you work with Westwind, and you get an appreciation of how things are done on that rural landscape. You have to tell your friends. In the city here, you have to reach out, you have to talk to your kids, you have to try to tell your kids' teachers they should start looking at programs like some of the ones we listed. There's a lot of them, so we'll do just a few. But the word has to get out to folks, because if we cannot convince the public in general of how important our forests are, the politicians are only going to follow suit to what those folks are telling them. They're just saying, what's the latest thing blowing in the wind right now? If they start hearing that it's really important to make sure we've got the resources to take care of our environment, both urban and rural, so that they stop taking away budget from the environmental ministries like MNRF and MOECC, then we might be able to get ahead of this. But if we don't do that, we're just going to lose the game. So biggest threat, awareness. People have to become more aware of what we can do to ensure that we have those sustainably managed forests for our future. It's going to address climate change. It's going to address all those other things we talked about. We'll make sure that, you know, we do it because of the environment and because of our future. And if we don't do it now, you don't feel that you need to do it for your generation, think about the next generation. Thanks very much.